Welcome back to What She Says, Sports This Shanola Girl checking in. All right, y'all. So I'm approaching my last day of vacation. Tomorrow is the travel day. So we better enjoy this podcast because I don't know if I'm gonna be on the ground in time to go live tomorrow night. So my vacation is wrapping up. I've had a wonderful time, had some damn good food today. Um, and y'all know it's Mardi Gras, right? So we got I planned a good show, and y'all know we follow quarterbacks. So I got some core QB updates out there for some quarterbacks that we follow and that we like. And it's Mardi Gras. I got some content for you. And Sheduer, y'all know it was Shiloh's birthday today. So, and I got some footage. I got some footage that I didn't see. So we're gonna share it with y'all. And we get ready to have a good show. So y'all grab your snacks or whatever. See, the intro gives you time to get your snacks together. Like I had to go and get my snacks together. So let's get into it, shall we? So y'all know that if you pay attention to the community, I posted that Njoku will be moving on. So we're gonna talk about that because that was one of Sheduer's targets. And y'all know I'm always side-eyeing the Browns. Don't forget my segment, Surviving the Browns. This is a part of that. I just don't call it that because it's about something else today. But it's not in particularly about Sheduer, but y'all know Njoku was one of the tight end targets. The tight ends were more reliable than the wide receivers. So we're going to talk about that and some of the changes that's getting ready to take place within the Browns organization. And we'll talk about how that impacts Sheduer. So we just going to get into the show. All right, first up, y'all know I'm a NOLA girl. So I'm going to share a little bit of NOLA culture with y'all, especially around Mardi Gras. And maybe, fingers crossed, my family said they'll support me. I might be in a crew next year for Mardi Gras. So if I end up in a crew and I end up in a parade, end up on the float, I'm going to need y'all to come to New Orleans and support me. All right. But I got to get in the crew first. So it's the process. I wouldn't even know till May. And once I might make it a thing, going through the process once I learn more about get closer to the decision-making process. So fingers crossed. So to kind of celebrate the potentiality, we got to call it potentiality because they don't just let you walk in these damn crews. And it is the all-black crew. So y'all know how I get down. So I'm excited. Hell, it don't even have to happen. I'm probably not going to cry about it, but because I know it ain't easy to get in. Plus, I don't live there. So I think that's already a strike against me. But I'm a NOLA girl. So we're gonna see, but I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. And I'm happy to hear my family say, we got you. I'm like, okay, okay. okay. That's the part two, right? So let's kick off this with a little NOLA culture, a little little celebration for the potentiality of NOLA girl possibly joining a crew in New Orleans. All right, let's get into it. This is Southern University, and the parade is called OSHUN, OSHUN. They started the parade, so that's why you see the police escorts there. The first band in any parade is special, right? It means you like that. The first band, the second band, the third band, so you kind of get it right. So Southern opened up this parade as well. So you're going to see them coming up. And I don't know if you know, but there's some bubbles. So there's like a bubble machine. So I'm going to let you listen to a little bit of it. Now, if y'all ever decide you want to watch a parade, they're actually streaming the parades now from beginning to end. And there's a website called NOLA.com. Now, Showtime has a channel. He posts the parades. He'll just post the bands. But if you go to NOLA.com, they actually stream the parades from beginning to end. So the crew of Femme Fatale, the crew of Carrollton, they're going to stream Endymion. They've been streaming since the Mardi Gras season started. So that Tuesday is February 17th. But just go to NOLA.com like on YouTube and you can choose and watch. You can watch the parades. So A famous Mardi Gras song. They look good. Southern University is right up the road in Baton Rouge. So this is home away from home. The song is called Do What You Wanna. And y'all know Southern comes with the precision, comes with the sound, and is highly regarded HBCU band, Southern University. I think that's one of their directors right there in the middle, walking with them. Now the beauty of Mardi Gras, and Mardi Gras has grown, right? This is New Orleans, but now they have Mardi Gras in Galveston, Texas. They have Mardi Gras in Mobile, Alabama, Biloxi, Mississippi, and in Georgia. They're getting ready to have Mardi Gras again. Now, the thing about Atlanta keeps trying to have Mardi Gras, and I think I might have told y'all about this. Atlanta keeps trying to have Mardi Gras, but it depends on who try to put it together. They keep trying to have it indoors, and you can't do Mardi Gras indoors. You can't do Mardi Gras indoors. They keep trying it, and it keep failing. But this year, there's supposed to be an actual Mardi Gras parade happening in Virginia Highlands, which is the city of Atlanta, but you like the suburb city. And if I can find it, I'm gonna see if I'm in town. I can go to it. We're still talking about maybe trying to pop up in New Orleans next weekend for the big weekend before Fat Tuesday for the famous Endymion parade, the one y'all saw me at last year. So if we don't make, it's not a big deal if we don't make it because I might get to be there next year. But if we make it, I'm definitely gonna stream because I streamed from there last year. But Mardi Gras is growing, right? And it's moving throughout the South from what I can see. And if Atlanta ever get it right, if they ever can figure it out, I think it's gonna be a wonderful thing. And before the parades, all the bands they get together and they do like a competition, song for song. And they're now doing something in addition to the lineups, pre-parade lineups, and competing against each other, just getting ready for the most part. They're playing. So like Southern was playing with some of the high school bands. So last year it was Southern versus say St. Aug, which St. Aug is considered a baby Southern University, but it's a high school, right? And you know how in Texas football is king, in Louisiana, in New Orleans, the band is king, and that's just how it goes. So now you have Southern University lining up ahead of the parade instead of competing against the high schools. They're playing with the high schools. So if I can get that footage to share it, that's the beautiful thing for these high school players that look up to these band members and at Southern, which is like top dog in New Orleans when it comes to bands, right? So I thought that was special. That's now the new trend. Now I'm seeing that trend with the bands competing before the parades begin. I saw it in Alabama. So that means we're going to start to see it at some of the other Mardi Gras parades that are happening in the other states. Mardi Gras from New Orleans is actually growing. It's growing, and hopefully if you can get to one, just get to a parade, just have you some fun. It's a good time. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that, with y'all. NOLA girl culture, especially if I could end up on a crew next year. So y'all can just kind of see, what it feels like, the vibe and what it's like. It's a fun time, as you can see, with family, family friendly outside. And some parades have 35 floats. and 25 bands, and sometimes the bands come from different cities, different states. So if y'all can get to a Mardi Gras parade before the season end on Fat Tuesday, February 17th, I highly suggest you do it. If not, watch the ones that I stream or watch NOLA.com or Showtime Web or any other channels that are showing the bands and or the parades. Some have all of it. That's NOLA.com. You can catch the floats, you can catch the bands, you can catch all of it. So check that out. All right, so let's get into what we were talking about. Okay, so before we get to Njoku, I posted in the community. I said that the Bengals have decided they think they want to keep Flacco. I'm like, damn, I thought Flacco might come back to Cleveland. I don't know why I was hoping that, but I was kind of hoping that. So the point I was trying to make is that the Bengals have already expressed interest in Flacco. So it looks like it might be true that Burrow might be moving on. So the rumor is that he wants out. And I was asking people in the comments. I know I asked Ramon, what do you think is a good team for Joe Burrow to go to? So seems like, teams are making their intentions known about the people they want. I haven't heard Sheduer's name outside of Cleveland. We talked about that yesterday. And some people weren't happy with Myles Garrett's response. And I just wanted to point out that, Myles Garrett was all high on Sheduer, and it seemed like he got a phone call after that, and he had to switch it up. And I said to myself, now, this happened during the season, this intimidation. That's intimidation, right? Coercion. And we said last year, Stefanski was the coach, and we looking at him, right? And we noticed how people that got close to Sheduer got put out and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Stefanski's gone. Stefanski's gone, and Myles Garrett is putting up the wrist, and all of a sudden, he got to switch up his language. So who making them phone calls if Stefanski's gone? Is it Andrew Berry or is it the owner? So that means we already on season 2 starring Todd Monken. It's not him because he just got there. Stefanski's gone. It's not him. So could it be the owner intimidating these players once they show support for Sheduer that they don't want to see or hear that? Think about it. Myles Garrett was just doing this and he was happy about it. And then all of a sudden, he had to switch it up and start saying some of the things that Todd Monken was saying. Well, we're not going to give anybody that title. That's the same verbiage. And I know it wasn't Todd Monken because he wasn't there last year. So who is intimidating these players into refraining from showing support for Sheduer? Put a pin in that. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments because the fancy's gone. Monken is new. And the same thing is happening. So what does it say? Who's the common denominator? And I just don't believe it's Andrew Berry unless somebody called him and told him. Do I think he took the initiative? No. But there is somebody on that side that is intimidating these players away, intimidating these players to refrain from showing support from Sheduer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I want you to put a pin in it because we're going to get back to it. We're going to get back to it. That's the one takeaway that I thought about today because I was like, that was crazy, right? Myles was all in and I'm like, how you on TV with this? And then all of a sudden you backpedaling because you got a phone call or a text message. That's intimidation. They trying to, again, this year, force these players to not show support for Sheduer. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to get to the bottom of it one way or the other because for one, it's illegal. For one, it's illegal. All right. So, we're gonna see where Flacco lands. Sound like he's gonna be in Bingo. Sound like he's gonna be in Cincinnati, but they already declaring their intentions. Seems like Will Howard, they gushing over him in Pittsburgh. We haven't heard that from Cleveland, but Sheduer might be there. Now, it was already discussed previously that the Browns, I even heard the owner say it in his last press conference before, even maybe after Stefanski got fired, that they were gonna be making some big changes on offense, right? So I'm going to read what's on the screen for y'all that can't see it. So it's that the Browns are headed for what GM Andrew Berry called significant turnover. Significant turnover came from the owner because I heard him say it myself. Oh, when they asked him about the quarterback position in Sheduer, he was non-committal. He deflected, and his response was exactly what it says right here. But he said there'll be big changes. There'll be lots of changes on offense. We're making a lot of changes on offense. He didn't even answer the question, just like Stefanski. So it said the Browns are headed for what the GM Andrew Berry called significant turnover on offense as they try to get younger and rebuild the NFL's lowest scoring offense over the past 2 seasons. Now, why is that? Because the fans didn't want to play Sheduer. And last year and year before that, they got Deshaun injured and kept running through quarterbacks. But how on earth is it that Jerry Jeudy ended up with a $28 million guarantee? And that changed and elevated to a $41 million guarantee from last year to this year if they have the lowest scoring offense and he leads the league in drops. Explain it. What are you paying him all of this money for? Right? And why is it Njoku's gone and not him? And mind you, Njoku is leaving and there'll be like a $24 million dead cap space, which means they still got to pay. So let me get this straight. You want him to walk. And this is what's said, right? It said that Harold Fannin Jr. has emerged as the starter. I said, okay, so why he just not on the depth chart at number 2? Y'all know who on the depth chart at 3 and 4, right? Who stepped on Sheduer's hand? And who after that? The one that was bobbling it in the end zone. Brenda Bates and Blake Whiteheart. So let me get this straight. You're saying that Harold Fannin Jr. is going to become the primary tight end. Okay. So you're going to let Njoku, who's the second tight end, walk and leave a dead cap space of $24 million and you're already over the cap at $15 million. Rather than him stay there and just play behind Harold Fannin Jr. So you have declared that you know exactly that Harold Fannin Jr. is your starter, but you don't know that Sheduer is your starter. Last I checked, Harold Fannin Jr. looked like a star because of Sheduer, right? Right? Because it showed what them checkdowns, was it? But you can commit to Harold Fannin Jr. so much so that you can allow Njoku to walk and you still pay while he gone. That don't make no sense. And I get it. They want to be younger. They saying Harold Fannin Jr. is the guy, so don't re-sign him. But why would you let him walk and create dead cap space? Who you gonna put after him? Because Blake Whiteheart isn't better than Njoku. And neither is Brenda Bates. Let's see if one of the two of them are Canales, the one that let the ball slide down his body. You know all 3 of them white, right? Let's see what happens. Now, we all know that Njoku was one of the first people to publicly gravitate towards Sheduer. And I called it. I said, he in a contract year. Let's see what happens. He's gone. Gone. In March, he'll be a free agent. They could keep him because they owe him money. They gave him his signing bonus. He had a guaranteed contract for like 20 some odd million dollars. And that's coincidentally the amount of the dead cap space. That was after restructuring. So he had been there 9 years. Yes, he can get a fresh start, but it's not like you don't owe him money or you don't have to take a hit for it. So to me, this was always the plan. Now, remember, Njoku was kind of hurt or whatever, and they kept him out. They had talked about trading him, I guess, earlier this season. But personally, I felt like either if he was white, number 1, or 2, if he wasn't chummy with Sheduer, he would still be right there because he a dead cap hit anyway. The last dead cap hit that I can recall that was significant was Russell Wilson from Denver to Pittsburgh. And you know what that was about. This is not any different. So shout out to Njoku. Maybe he'll get an opportunity to go somewhere and ball out for real, just like other people do when they leave Cleveland, right? So he's going under the guise of Harold Fannin Jr. is now the primary, so we don't need you. Let me know how you feel about that. Because Blake Whiteheart and Brenda Bates and Canales, they not like that. But they want to make the one that crushed Sheduer's hand the 2. Let's see what happens. It said Harold Fannin Jr. emerged as Cleveland's top target as a rookie. It said would look for the Browns to target a tight end this offseason to pair with him, as Ty Munkin has used a lot of 12 personnel. People are saying they think Isaiah Likely is coming over from the Ravens. I'm like, we'll see. Because clearly there's an agenda here, right? There's an agenda. You owe this guy money, but you're going to let him leave, and you say you're going to pair him up with somebody else. I have a feeling that somebody else is already over there. Yeah. The three somebody else's is already over there. And y'all know Andrew Berry like to get people for cheap at the whim of the owner, his owner. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me know what you think. But I smell a rat. I smell a rat. I smell Blake Whitehart was auditioning when he crushed Sheduer's finger to show what it is he could do. So was Brenda Bates when he was jostling the ball. And so was Canales when he see all three of them showed they don't support Sheduer. And Njoku did. And who's gone? Njoku. And what happened to Harold Fanning Jr.? He got sat down. Even though he walked off the field on his own accord, but he got sat down. And what happened to Defensive Rookie of the Year? They allowed him to play with blood on his uniform to get that up. And it worked. I'm not saying he's not good, but understand that played into it, right? Carson Schlesinger making him look like the hero. Let's see what happens with Carson Schlesinger and Myles Garrett next year. Pay attention. Denzel Ward too. Pay attention. So I actually have a list of all the impending free agents coming up this year. And I want to share it with you because I think it's quite interesting as to who's on it. Let's see if I still have it. As to who's on it. Here we go right here. So I do have it. So let's check this out. Some of the names might make you go, okay, it kind of makes sense now because they was moving on. That's why, they wasn't worried about it. That's why they were the ones likely to behave that way. I was like, oh, that's how it works. Okay, so I know what to look for next year. All right, so let's see the free agents. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, so let's just take a look at these people right here. It said the Cleveland Browns face a significant roster overhaul headed into the 2026 offseason with 26 players currently set to hit free agency. It said this list is headlined by veteran leaders on the offensive line and a star tight end, David Njoku, which means David Njoku is getting ready to go to another team. And sounds like the Browns are going to pay his salary. So they're letting a star tight end walk. It said who was already announced he will not return to the team. So I don't know what their conversation sounded like. Maybe they told him Harold Fanning Jr. is the guy. So you could go ahead on and start fresh somewhere while you're still a star and we going to pay your salary. Tell me that makes sense. We know why Denver was paying Russell Wilson's salary because they wanted him gone. You get it now? So he was over there in Pittsburgh paying his salary. And when he got there, his career was supposed to go to die. But Mike Tomlin, who has recently been fired himself, decided to allow Russell Wilson to be QB1 instead of QB2 like they expected. And they made a run for the playoffs. But apparently George Pickens. So here we go. These are the people who are on the list to be moving out. David Njoku confirmed departure second in team history for tight end touchdown catches. Team history, just like Sheduer created a lot of history, right? But they don't know about him. They're letting a tight end go that's second in team history for tight end touchdown catches. What position does Mark Andrews play? Tight end, right? You know he the leading wide receiver. And he been over there 14 years. He ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, he just got, after helping to lose the AFC Championship game, he just received one hell of a reward, a $36 million contract for a 14-year veteran who underperformed so much, went missing in big games, is documented, that they had to bring in somebody like Isaiah Likely and some other people. So you had to be replaced, and somehow you get a $36 million contract after they replaced you, after losing the AFC Championship game because you couldn't hold on to the ball. But Njoku, who they owe money, creating dead cap space, they'd rather him move on. But it says right here, confirmed departure second in team history for tight end touchdown catches. Make that make sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, next, Joel Bitonio. Unrestricted free agent, 12-year veteran. Retirement is a potential consideration. This man was dirt diving. Let's see what happens to him. It's potential. It should be mandatory. If you out here dirt diving, you don't want to win. If you don't want to win, you shouldn't be playing football. So his retirement should be mandatory. Let's see if he is allowed to stay, and let's see what he does, because he didn't show support for Sheduer. Wyatt Teller. Remember, Wyatt Teller said he wasn't injured, but they said he was. He's starting right guard potential for post June 1 cut. So they already know. They already know. So Wyatt Teller supports Sheduer, potential June 1 cut designation. Y'all see what's happening, right? Njoku supports Sheduer, second most touchdown by a tight end in history. Gone. So the good people going and horrible people staying. That means Sheduer gonna be there. Nobody else is talking about Sheduer, but they talking about the Bengals know what they want to do with Flacco, Will Howard, and they gloating over him. Other players on other teams gloating over him. Sheduer, he got to earn it. And not only do we have to earn it, now he got to earn it with his second best tight end, whether it's the first or the second, being pushed out, even though they still gonna pay him. And Wyatt Teller, who stood up for him and held him up like Simba, potentially cut June 1st. They already know. And Stefanski's gone. So who's the problem over there? Let's get back to it, shall we? Who we got? Devin Bush. Yeah, I think the charges in his case were dropped right around December. It was going to be rescheduled December 3rd, but then it came back a few days later, and the domestic violence charges were just dropped. And here he is, free agent linebacker, led the NFL with 2 pick sixes, projected market value $10 million a year. Let's see where Devin Bush lands. Let's see where he lands. Ethan posted. Okay, we have a center, part of the crew. Veteran starter, viewed as potential target for re-signing. Now, why would we want to re-sign? Ethan posted. Cam Robinson, offensive tackle, undrafted free agent, unrestricted free agent, excuse me. It said acquired during the 2025 season, straight buster, one of the top available tackles. How is he a top available tackle? This man severely underperformed, and he's a top available tackle. Where did he get these notes from? Let's see where he lands. So, see, we have a list. And you can always come back to this episode to review the list. Feel free to screenshot it. Martin Emerson, he's cornerback. Shutdown corner. 2025 season was cut short by an Achilles injury. We'll have to see what happens to him. We kind of keep our eye on the defensive side of the ball. They had the number 2 defense last year. We shall see. Jerome Ford, running back. Primary backup, occasional starter, potential for extension. What did y'all think about Jerome Ford? I didn't see too much. I felt like the running back room was stacked. I felt like when he tried to get a little motion, he got shut down. Quishon got hurt. There was the Sanders guy. And what's the other one? There was like 4 of them. There's one more. The one that used to be the 3rd string. Dylan Sampson. So I felt like the running back room was stacked. Let's see. They shouldn't need anybody else. I mean, I don't know if they're going to re-sign this guy or not, but he went missing at some point. But it wasn't on him. It definitely wasn't on him. Ronnie Hickman, safety, it said homegrown starter, posted a 75.3 PFF coverage grade in 2025. I wonder what they have Cam Robinson's PFF as, because they said he's a top available tackle. That opens the door for them to want to keep him. Oh, well, he's the top tackle. Okay. And Njoku's a star, and you already owe him money. Let's see what happens. So this information, that's what it is. I'm going to keep this. All right. So I'm going to keep that, and let me know what you think about that in the comments. I'm curious to see what y'all think about all of the offense. There was only 2 defensive people on the list. So there is a lot of motion happening on offense. Clearly, they already have been making some decisions, and Njoku's the first to be moved out. Of the other free agents, Wyatt Teller is the next one. Sound like they already have notes by him. Cut him June 1st. If you know you're gonna cut him June 1st in camp, I guess maybe let him go and he could go somewhere else. Because when Jerry Jeudy was signed, he was signed in March. Yeah, they signed him after he failed in after he failed in Denver. He was picked up and signed to the Browns in March. Yep, and they gave him a $50 million contract after he's failed. in yep, after he failed to Denver. He didn't prove anything. All I know about it in Jerry Judy is when he was at the combine, they said he got in trouble because he was wearing the Star David. And he said, "Oh, my bad. My nickname is Jew because Jerry Judy, you know." So yeah, seemed like a dog whistle to me, but the way things are turning out is kind of like, was you letting these people know, hey, I'm available? Because that's what it's given. So I saw a few people in the comments say they were disappointed that Jerry Judy hasn't been earmarked to be pushed out. But now that you see who is, Wyatt Teller cut potentially, but the notes are there. June 1st, they even know the date. They even know the date. And then by Njoku. So all you got to do was sit down and look at everybody that supported Sheduer and see where they are. We know where Tony Brown is gone, right? They just terminated his contract. And Njoku pretty much gone. Wyatt Teller next earmark to be gone. So they're setting it up this year. They're going to get some people, and if they're long-term contract, they're going to be told what it is who it is they're to align with. If they're coming in for a year to see how you do, and we'll maybe give you another contract next year, they're going to be auditioning to see if they can follow the script. And the script clearly is against Sheduer. You're not going to convince me that two of the people that supported him and did well, and one that you still owe money, are earmarked to be gone. But Cam Robinson has good notes. So that's that on that. All right. So there's a note here I want to share too. Trinidad Shamblers. Don't know if I told y'all. I follow Trinidad. Ole Miss is pushing for a reconsideration of the denial by the NCAA of Trinidad Shamblers, the quarterback from Ole Miss, so that he can stay in school 1 year. He wants to waiver to go back to school. They won't give it to him. But they gave Diego Pavia 7 years, and this kid is only asking for 6. So fingers crossed, but I don't think they're going to give it to him because, see, this kid is a Sheduer. And what do I mean by that? All right, what is Sheduer? Sheduer is not just one hell of a quarterback that people like and excited and bring people in. He's also a magnet for people to talk about. He's the story for the class of 2027. Now, why is that problematic to the NCAA? Because it's problematic to the NFL. That's just what it is. People need to finally admit these people working together. It's not a coincidence that what happened to Sheduer in college with the Heisman happened to Sheduer in Cleveland. It's the same people, right? You had the same actors, and then you had the NCAA is now brought into the fold with Trinidad Shamblers. All the other quarterbacks, got the opportunity to go back to school because they still had eligibility. But they were giving people waivers for eligibility, including a player who had already played in the NBA basketball. But they wouldn't give Shamblers a 6th year, but they gave Diego Pavia a 7th. Then suddenly Diego Pavia decides, I'm coming out. I'm like, yeah, because everybody else stayed in school. So because the golden kid is coming out next year and he's not like that, they want him to be the story. They want him to be the story in NFL, which is why they shut down Sheduer. And they want the Manning kid to be the story in college. They already have him listed. Watch by the time we get to May, they're going to do a ranking of quarterbacks. Watch where he is. And he hasn't proven that. And they're showing you it doesn't matter, right? They're showing you it doesn't matter. And honestly, with the Epstein files being out, and even though we see what the hell is going on, but it don't matter because when people show you who they are, you better move accordingly, right? And they not pivoted. They not switching up. They still want to do what they want to do. They like, who gonna check us, boo? That's how they all acting. Like, oh, okay, all right, because clearly y'all don't believe in God. I mean, that's ever apparent here. So this kid, keep your eye on Trinidad Shamblers. I will keep you updated. It will be a miracle. Yeah, it will be a miracle if he gets to go back to school for a 6th year, because he's the story for the class of 2027, and they want the Manning kid to be the story. So pushing him to the draft where he will be devalued, where he will already is being devalued to the 3rd round. The kid didn't even make it as far as this kid did. How the hell is he being devalued? Because he don't have 20 million fans. He got me, but he don't have 20 million fans. And they're already talking about him going to the 3rd round. This kid is good. But see, he's not a check down kid. And he's black. The check down kids are not black. Pay attention. They're going to need to go get him one before it becomes very apparent what's going on, but I don't think they care. So pay attention to Trinidad Shamblers. Shout out to Ole Miss for fighting on his behalf for him to come back. Because they don't have to. I don't think CU did anything like that. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So there's some fugazis happening here. As you can see, they know what they want to do. They showing their interest in Flacco. Sheduer has to prove himself. This kid is being railroaded. It's not a coincidence what's happening here. So it seems like season 2, with new crop of players coming out, it's the same script. It's the same story. And speaking of script, a lot of people are now starting to finally catch on that these games are rigged. Finally. Now, I shout out to Damari Smith because I feel like he was the leader of that effort. Why? Because he had the courage to speak out about it in his book Turf Wars. And then he went on like a book tour and he was doing different videos like on Boardroom. And he didn't just tell us it's scripted. He explained how it's scripted. One of the scripts is what? The first 15 plays are documented so the players can learn them. That's one. The second script is what we talked about with Monken and Stefanski both being rewarded for suppressing their black quarterbacks because they're elite. And what do they do in addition to injuries? What else did I say they do? They even have a name for it. Off-script plays. So they don't want Lamar. They don't want Sheduer, both elite with different quarterback styles, leaving the pocket. When the play breaks down, they're supposed to stay in the pocket and take a sack, and that messes up their QBR. When the play breaks down, they're not supposed to run to the left or use their legs for something to happen. Monken is credited with keeping Lamar in the pocket. He's also credited with suppressing the run. So you want me to keep Lamar in the pocket and you suppressing the run. Stefanski did the same thing. Why do you think Quinshon Judkins hurt? What did you just hear me say about Jerome Ford? So those two coaches were rewarded. And in the blueprint, the script that they use to suppress their black quarterbacks has now been disseminated around the league. So it's not just scripted with the first 15 plays. It's not just scripted with this is who we want to go to the 2026 or 2027 quarterback, to the Super Bowl. It's not just scripted that we don't want these black quarterbacks to rise. So we're going to use off-script plays. We're going to use excessive sacks. We're going to use injuries and make the money from insurance. It's all of it together. It's all of it together. And the foundation is what? Racism at the quarterback position, which is why you see what's happening to Sheduer. Now, for people that think Sheduer should quit, he ain't the only quarterback. And it's not new. It's new to us because so many people are looking at it. And we talked about that yesterday. And shout out to y'all that really said y'all really loved the podcast yesterday, podcast episode. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have no idea. Sometimes I'm like, should I really say this? Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for all the encouragement, the support, the comments, the super chats, the super thanks. Thank you. That all helps me in my fight to just keep going down my path. Right? So the off-script plays is what you're getting ready to see. You heard Tommy Reese before he left say out loud, when it came to Sheduer being a quarterback, it's not about winning or losing. They didn't care about winning or losing when he was the quarterback. It's about development. And we wanted him to not make off-script or off-schedule plays. It's off-script. This is the script. When the play breakdown, we don't want you to make something happen. That is what a modern quarterback does. So they're trying to dumb down Sheduer's quarterback skill set. They're trying to dumb down Lamar Jackson's skill set. And then they're trying to devalue black quarterbacks coming out in this class, which is why so many went back to school, which is why we will be seeing what happens to Trinidad Shamblers. Because he's already a target. All right, so that's that. Shout out to Ole Miss. Hopefully it works out. It just seemed like they already have their mind made up. They know this kid is good, and they like, we're not letting him come back here because he's going to ruin the story. So that's what it is. Now, I do want to say this out loud to the Myles Garretts and the Denzel Wards and to all the other black players that are afraid to stand up for their black quarterbacks. You know you can start your own damn league. You know selling your soul is not the only option. I mean, you're past time for your own lead. What else are you going to do? That's what the movie Him was about. Even though I didn't make it through the whole movie, I made it through the beginning. And I said, these guys act like they only have one option, and that's to be forced into submission. I'm like, no, start your own league. Why is that never an option? Hold on one second. So I'm like, why is it that it seems like Myles Garrett was fully supporting Sheduer, right? And then somebody came to him, and I don't know what they said, but they said something. They said something because he used the same language that Monken used. We don't want to give anybody that title. First of all, the fact that you using the word "we" tells me you have really bought into the fact that they made you believe that you were somehow a part of the hiring process. If they don't like Sheduer because he black, why you think they like you? They owe you money. See, that's the difference. You have a guaranteed contract, and they know that if you exercise your rights, they still have to pay you. And why is it that even if you have a guaranteed contract, you still cower to them? You still let them force you into submission and manipulate you into believing you somehow matter when Sheduer doesn't because he's black. You know you black. That's how manipulation works. I want you to think you a different kind of black person than Sheduer. Sheduer's the damn quarterback, the leader of the team. On every other team with a white quarterback, the quarterback is king. The most important position on the team. I'm so tired of hearing that, but that's what it is. And somehow they have let you believe that because Sheduer is black, he's not the most important position on the team. You are. Okay, I can't wait till this season starts because I already know. I already see the play. I already see who they trying to put in front of him. He just don't know. I watched it happen all damn season. Y'all know who it is too. And he ain't black. So they have somehow convinced Myles Garrett that he's a part of the decision-making process. Therefore, he's allowed to use the same identical verbiage as Ty Monken. We're not going to give anybody that title. We? So you a we now? But you couldn't be a we and sack Brock Purdy like you wanted to. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I know who the we is. And he was in the second round with a fully guaranteed contract. When did you get your fully guaranteed contract? We. You see what I'm saying? You act like the only option you have is to cower to the manipulation and the submission. No, you have a fully guaranteed contract. You have leverage. And you know this because we have watched you use it. And I want you to know that ain't going to work out in your relationship. I'm just letting you know. When you let your woman know that you're willing to cower to another man, she going to leave you. So that's just what's going to happen. Understand. It's going to be a very interesting year because we already see them making moves, the same kind of moves they made last year, pushing out all of the people that support Sheduer. In turn, the people that supported Sheduer last year decided they didn't want to get pushed out with fully guaranteed contracts, which gives them all the leverage in the world, which is why the NFL hates fully guaranteed contracts. But yet, they chose to submit and start using the word we. And instead of seeing Sheduer, the quarterback who's black, as the most important position on the team, they are helping in their verbiage to further the racial discrimination against the quarterback that's black, Sheduer Sanders. And they're probably going to run out here and get another black quarterback and go, see, we're not racist, and trash his career. Because the name of the game is to stall until the 2027 draft. Tell me I'm wrong. You already see the moves being made. What did I say? Have I been wrong yet about this whole Monken situation? No. I said that man is playing in his face. I said he failed Lamar. He failed up to come over here to fail Sheduer. And people talk about how it is he recruited Sheduer out of high school. He wasn't even at Georgia. But you know who he did recruit out of high school successfully before he went to Baltimore? The Manning kid. That's why he's there. And his job is to start getting the foundation together. So they just going to stall through this season like they stalled through last season. And they stalled the year before Sheduer came, which is why they only won 3 games. And they thanked Stefanski for his services with a $15 million a year contract, which is a little over $1.3 million a month after abusing this kid. And now that Stefanski's gone, we see the same bullshit happen. We see people being moved out the way that support Sheduer. So you know what? I'm glad Stefanski gone because I have a clearer view at who the goddamn problem is. It's discrimination. It's racial discrimination, and we calling it out. So Stefanski was the abuser, and the one discriminating is one of the two that's still over there. We're going to see who it is. We're going to get a clear shot of who it is because Andrew Berry don't have that kind of power. So by process of elimination, it's the owner. Andrew Berry don't have that kind of power. He can carry out what the owner wants. He actually repeated what the owner said. Oh, there's going to be a lot of turnover on offense. I already heard the owner say that. So you showing me that you don't have no power. You're repeating what he said. And Myles Garrett is repeating what Monken said. So in order for Myles Garrett to get a little bit of acknowledgement, he had to go along with, he's allowed to use the word we, and then he has to go along with shunning the black quarterback and shunning him, discriminating against him, and making him irrelevant instead of recognizing the quarterback as the most important position on the team. But they over there gushing over Will Howard. It's blatant racial discrimination. But see, when they use people like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward to come out and say ignorant stuff, that's what they say. That's why they try to water their racism down. But it don't work. Because your pattern is already there. Where is Wyatt Teller going? What happened to Tony Brown? Why are you moving off the Njoku, but you still owe him $24 million? Why all of a sudden are you out here coercing these players? Why was Jerry Jeudy forced to share locker with Flacco when we knew Jerry Jeudy knew Sheduer from Colorado? Were you trying to tell Jerry Jeudy not to get close to Sheduer? And how did you get Jerry Jeudy to suddenly go from sharing a locker to Flacco to playing football when Dylan was out there, even though, you know, it wasn't all that great. But then suddenly he can't catch and hold on to the ball when it's Sheduer. Coercion. We back at exactly where we were with Stefanski, and he gone. Stefanski was the abuser. That's what he was. But the mastermind is still over there. And I pretty much see a clear shot to him because I know Andrew Berry don't have no power. I know Andrew Berry gets scapegoated. And what Andrew Berry needs to stop doing before he finds himself in a world of trouble is taking credit for shit that he didn't do. Is Tom Telesco still over there? Oh, okay. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. So our guy Sheduer Sanders just lost his what second tight end target. Sound like he's using the only lineman that had the courage to show some support. Not a surprise here, right? So y'all have to let me know what y'all think about all this. We got a long off season to go, and the bull crap has already started. It's gonna be an interesting season 2. Y'all know what I'm looking for. My job is call it out. It's guys' job to convince. I'm looking for the unexpected. The Epstein files were the unexpected. The unexpected is actually happening right now. And we just gonna see what happens because I posted it on IG. A lot can change in 30 days. A lot can change in 30 days. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. So we want Sheduer to enjoy his off season. I know with every time he hear about somebody, you know, potentially being moved out, he know what it is, right? He know what it is. And somebody said to me, I think the Sanders have plans. I'm like, they always got plans. They always got plans. And they said during the season, last season, while Colorado was still playing football, when all of the fugazi was happening, the Sanders men gonna have to regroup. I do believe they have regrouped. And they don't let on. I love it. I love it. So let's take a video. We're going to celebrate them. I think this might be from the Pro Bowl. I just saw it for the first time. So we're going to take a look at it. And I guess we're going to celebrate the Sanders family because they sure been through it. They sure been through it. And I'm going to head over to the comments. All right, let me back it up a little bit. All right. So it looks like they were headed to or from San Francisco, right? There's Carucci, a TK, a TC, the bodyguard, and there's Coach Prime. Now, is this Colorado's jet? I didn't know if that was Colorado's jet. Oh, I think this is the Pro Bowl. I think. I'm not really sure. Yep, this is the Pro Bowl. So we had all the good people hanging out with Sheduer. That's Sheduer signing autographs. And I had never seen this footage, so I wanted to share it with y'all. I do believe the Sanders men have regrouped. Bucky has actually elevated up his content, if as if that was even possible. And we were talking yesterday. Somebody in the comments said that they thought maybe some of the players were jealous of Sheduer because they flip flopping, right? And I said, what? I said, no, because they all got money, right? Then after that, I was going through the comments and responding, and somebody said, Sheduer got his own shoe now. They could be jealous of that. I said, oh, that's right. And his face is on the bottom of his shoe. And in the tongue on the shoe, on the inside, the insole, is his logo. So yeah, maybe. So whoever said that yesterday, shout out to you. You might actually be on to something. I was just thinking about the money. I don't even know if I knew about the shoe, but I didn't take in consideration that he has his own shoe. Now let's talk about why that's impactful, right? Remember, as far as I know, now I can't speak for y'all. When I think about players getting shoes, it's basketball players like Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Giannis. Those are the people that we think about getting shoes, right? And I know Coach Prime had his own shoe, right? Clearly, he had the DT96 from back in his day, and then that other shoe, I don't know what it's called, but with the strap over the top, the one that they showing recently, the red one. And he played football and baseball, so I can understand why he had those shoes. And I know football players had shoes. I remember Calvin Johnson had a shoe one time, but see, he retired early, but he was really good. He had a shoe. Barry Bonds had a shoe, but he played both sports. He was a multi-sport athlete. So I'm trying to think, in the current NFL, like who has a shoe, right? Who has a shoe besides Sheduer? Like, especially this black. Let's go there first. Let's go there first. I'm trying to think, who have I seen associated with football? Like, does Jalen Hurts has a shoe? He has a shoe. Because does he have a shoe, or is he just a Nike ambassador? That's the question. Jalen Hurts. So I know he's a Nike ambassador. I know that Ted McMillan, who just won, did he win Rookie of the Year? Ted McMillan won, has a shoe. Well, no, Ted McMillan is a Nike athlete. No, a Jordan brand athlete. But does that mean he have a shoe? See, Sheduer has a shoe. So we talking up here, like, and with all of like the Currys, the LeBrons, he got a shoe like them, right? The Shaqs, they all had shoes. And the Kobe's, they all have shoes. Angel Reese got a shoe. But in the NFL, who has a shoe? I know they're Jordan brand athletes. I know they're Adidas athletes. I think Cam Ward is an Adidas athlete. No, he's Under Armour now. He was Adidas in college, but he doesn't have a shoe. So let's talk about that when we get to the comments. Finish this video, and then we're going to head over to the comments, because I just kind of want to see who has a shoe. I can't think of nobody, but I do know there are Jordan brand athletes, and like Justin Jefferson endorses Under Armour. But do they have shoes for football players in the modern NFL, like the last 7 years to current times? Let me know. All right, so back to this. I saw Michael Vick. Boy, I have a picture of Michael Vick's wife. Man, I knew that woman was fashionable. I knew she was gorgeous. Man, I have a picture of her. I was gonna play a game with y'all and say whose queen is this? Whose queen is this? Not whose wife is this. Whose queen is this? That's Sheduer. Oh, okay, that's a little bit of it. Okay, that's a little bit of the touchdowns, and this is them afterwards. Remember, I said Sheduer was in San Francisco taking photos with people. Oh, that's cute. I like that. That's Coach. Oh, remember Coach Prime used to wear a little scarf, and then they looking at some of the unreleased shoes. See, that's the dollar sign for Sheduer. And oh, that's Miss Constance. That's Miss Constance. Oh, I heard they had police escort. Yeah, I heard they had police escort through San Francisco for Coach Prime, of course, for Coach Prime. Shout out to Bucky, who has elevated his content. I like the different styles of the videography and the formatting that he does. I'm inspired by what he does, because, this wasn't his lane. He made this his lane, right? Or he created a lane because he was going down the fashion side. So shout out to Bucky for always bringing us the really good content. And yeah, they had a police escort. So go check out the whole video. It's on Well Off Media It started with Karuchi, so you know you got the right video. It started with Karuchi, and it looked like they were getting ready to head out to San Francisco. I didn't hear anything about her event. Did y'all hear anything about the R and Bay event that she had? I'm sure it went well because people were in the comments saying they were going to go. But let me know if y'all saw footage for it. I might see if I could go and snag some. All right, I'm headed over to the comments to see what y'all think about all of that. I said, right? And I'm getting ready to probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's a travel day. If you're just not joining us, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm probably not gonna be able to go live tomorrow night. If so, it'll be like at last minute because I'm traveling. But what I will do while I'm traveling is update my quarterback chart. Remember my quarterback chart? I had the 16, 17 to 32. So now that the season is over and people are showing interest in Flacco, and apparently Joe Burrow want to move around, and then we have Sheduer over there, and then we got Trinidad Shambliss kind of maybe coming in. We're gonna update the black quarterbacks that I was tracking last year with the 17 to 32 or 16 to 32. And we're going to update the chart and we're going to see what we start with because I know that's what they did. We're going to see what we start with coming into free agency. All right. So headed over to the comments. Let me see what time it is. I'm going to put the some music on as well. So yeah, my vacation comes to an end. I had a good time. I can't complain. I cannot complain. All right, so let's see. Just trying to. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. Shout out to everybody that's in here. All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mac. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Tamika. It said, I hope all of you had a great day. Nola Queen is the most informative podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you. It said, welcome to the flyest show on the planet. Facts. What she says sports. Like, hype, and subscribe. Do not forget to hype me up. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Tina, welcome back. Thank you for the article about people starting to learn that the game is rigged. So I think that's pretty good. Who's that? Hey, Jackie, welcome back. Welcome back. Who is that? Euclid? Hey, how you doing? Euclid C. Marie, Euclid Date. C. Marie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Crowley, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Val, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Selmo, welcome back. What you think about Njoku moving on? Let me know since you in Cleveland on the ground. I'm here to get my chat off. Facts, facts, facts. Kanissa, it said, or see Anissa or Kanissa, it said, hey, chat and Nola girl, it said, I'll be glad when we say bye to JJ and his foolishness, right? And I have a feeling he ain't going nowhere because he should have been the first one mentioned. And if they could take on dead cap space because of Njoku, they definitely could have took on dead cap space for Jared Judy, right? Hey, Sharon, welcome back. Welcome back. Pencil me in. Welcome back. It said, Carly said, I will come to New Orleans to support. Yay. Okay. All right. Happy birthday, Shiloh. What is this? Number B26? Is this number 26 for Shiloh? Hey, Black Diamond. Welcome back. Hey, Mel. Welcome back. Welcome back. It said, did you see Tony Brown at Sheduer Sanders' birthday party? No, I didn't, but I'm not surprised. And we'll look for that. Thank you so much. Because when I saw Tony at the game, remember we saw Tony at one of the close toward the end of the season games and he was on the sideline? I was like, did Sheduer invite him? I was wondering who invited him. And I thought he had on like a Cleveland Browns hoodie. So I thought maybe they invited him because they should have, right? Yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of who the mischief maker is over there. I have a feeling I know exactly who it is. Because Andrew Berry don't have no power and that leaves no one else. Because the other guy was already gone. But he was already back in the Major League Baseball. Yeah, you see what it is. It said, God got a way of exposing and making you believe. Stay tuned for the unexpected about that situation. It said, I will be driving down this Friday to my hometown Friday to New Orleans to celebrate Mardi Gras and go to the parade. It looks like they on St. Charles Avenue. We were trying to figure out where they were. I was trying to figure out, were they at the beginning of the parade? Because I didn't know what that was, but thank you for that. And if you go, let us know, send a picture or something, and I'm happy to share it. If I can make it, I will definitely be there and I will find you. because I always go to Endymion, so I don't know if I'll be able to make it this time. It said, yes, ma'am, New Orleans is my happy place. So excuse. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. It said Southern Band is lit. It said, think they were in Nick Cannon's movie Drumline. I never knew who the actual band was. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, Southern is world class, you know. I'm trying to think. Grambling also gets a lot of press, but I don't see them in New Orleans like that. I will tell you, I've already seen Texas Southern University, Ocean of Soul. They were in another parade this past weekend, I think, either Friday, Saturday. They didn't have any late parade Sunday, but either Friday or Saturday, Texas Southern Ocean of Soul came to New Orleans for, or went to New Orleans for the Mardi Gras parade. So shout out to TSU, Texas Southern. It said the HBCU bands are always so awesome. It said, I'm proud. I'm a product of Hampton University, Black Power. Okay. It said, who else put your school? Oh, anybody else is an HBCU grad, put your school in the chat. Okay. That's what they're saying. Awesome. I like that. You know, I would expect to see Tennessee State more because, I mean, maybe that's too far. I don't know. Tennessee State, the Aristocrat bands, they have a Grammy. They pretty good. I don't know. Maybe they don't do marching like that because parade marching is different from everything else that they do. And they actually have to get ready for parade season. So I don't know if Tennessee State does parades. And you know how we'll see like FAMU, Norfolk State. I forgot who did the Rose Bowl. Was it the Rose Bowl parade? Was it Norfolk State? So a lot of bands have to get ready and they do, you know, the parades and stuff like that. But Tennessee State has a really good band. So I don't know if they do parades. If y'all know, let me know. Anybody from Tennessee State? It said, I'll bring my cup to catch some beans. Okay, Ramon, and I will find y'all. It said, we used to do the funk train when I marched in New Orleans parade with my school. Oh, you went to Landry. Oh, wow. Okay, that's across the river, right? LB Landry. Blue and yellowish gold color. Okay. I think I saw them in the parade as well. I normally always looking for the schools. Pittsburgh. Oh, you think Joe Burrow gonna end up in Pittsburgh, Vermont? Okay, so if you just not joining us, I asked the question because we were talking about the Bengals have shown interest in Flacco, and I was thinking he probably was gonna maybe end back up in Cleveland or something, but with them making their intentions known, that kind of takes him out of that conversation. And it seems to me that the rumor might be true that Joe Burrow wants to move on. So Ramont is saying, because I asked, what team do y'all think would be good for him to go, you know, team up with, join as a quarterback, as a starter? He's saying Pittsburgh. Okay, but the way they're gushing over Will Howard, and they don't even call him a 6th round pick. I don't know what their intentions were for him, but they have definitely been showing him a lot of praise. So, okay, I can see him being QB2, Will Howard, behind Joe Burrow. Okay, awesome. Okay. It said, I believe it's the owner. It said, because last season, Haslam said Sheduer wasn't his choice. Right, Tamika? And everybody has been moving according to what he said, right? So, if somebody has to be Jimmy Haslam, I think it's him too. God don't like ugly. And we have been watching God hold Sheduer, protect Sheduer. Look for the unexpected where that's concerned, because that ain't gonna work out well. Joyce says the owner, yeah, I think so too. It say Haslam wants a placeholder quarterback, right? And what did they say? They want a bridge. That's the term they use. And I was talking to people about it. Maybe it was on here, and I know it was probably somewhere else. And somebody said in the comments, I think, that Deshaun Kaiser was supposed to be their bridge quarterback. They let that bridge quarterback go 0-60 and get humiliated. That's the kid that was Coach Prime. Remember Coach Prime put out that tweet? Sheduer was about 16. And he said, I like what the Browns are doing. So he started off being complimentary. And then he talked about, but it's not a good place for young quarterbacks. And Hugh Jackson, I think, was the head coach at the time. So he wasn't trying to offend Hugh Jackson, who, by the way, said he got set up and accused the Browns of bribing him to lose, just like Brian Flores. But he somehow backtracked off of that. But he still said they set him up to lose. So people don't ever talk about the context of that text message that Coach Prime put out in 2018. That was Deshaun Kaiser. Deshaun Kaiser was the guy they drafted after they fired who? Sashi Brown, the Black Harvard grad. That's not that Haslam referred to as Obama. And people knew Haslam did not like Obama, so he was disrespectful to Sashi Brown. And Sashi Brown went on the record wanting to draft Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And he got fired. So they fired him to make sure that he couldn't draft and bring Lamar to Cleveland. Do you see how extreme they being about black quarterbacks being drafted in the first round? Then here comes Sheduer. And Deshaun Kaiser was in the middle. He wasn't even the first round draft pick. He was in the second round, I think. He was supposed to be a developmental QB, like Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So what it seems to me is that Haslam fired Sashi Brown, who was actually no longer in the league for a couple of years, because he wanted to get Lamar and he didn't want to get a black quarterback. Right. But he didn't want to say it out loud. See, he don't want to be on the record, but his actions are on the record. And the pattern of his actions show racism. Stay tuned for the unexpected. So look what happened when it was Lamar. Look what happened to Sashi Brown. Then he went and got himself another black Harvard grad because Sashi Brown hired Andrew Berry. So Andrew Berry know what not to do so he don't get fired. So when they pivoted away from Sheduer, after they let Deshaun Kaiser go 0-16, then it's Sheduer's turn. They pretended they were going to get Sheduer. That's the whole $40 million conversation that Sheduer was having. And Andrew Berry was a part of that. And I say Andrew Berry messed up because not only did you look disgusted on draft night, little do people know Andrew Berry called Sashi Brown. Yes, Andrew Berry had to call in a favor, not only to the guy that hired him, Sashi Brown, but to the same Sashi Brown that got fired because he wanted to get a black quarterback, Lamar, and here come Monkey. Is it coming together for you? So the Browns needed a favor from Philadelphia and the Baltimore Ravens to try to steer Sheduer away. But notice, they only wanted to send him to teams where there were a black quarterback and that he would be behind them and never get the chance to start because there's no competition happening. So now, Sashi Brown, when he comes back to the NFL, guess where he works? The Baltimore Ravens, where Lamar Jackson is. And guess where Monkey is? Where Sheduer is. It was posted the other day that Lamar Jackson has been instrumental in the hiring process and that they're getting ready to talk long-term contract extension with Lamar Jackson. So did their problem get pushed out when Harbaugh and Monken left? I still want to know who gave Mark Andrews all that money. It wasn't Todd Monken. It wasn't Harbaugh. So somebody's still over it. And I heard the GM was crying like a baby when Harbaugh and Monken left. So we shall see. See, some of these owners like to pretend they're not interested. And I notice when people talk about Haslam, they say he likes to meddle. He ain't meddling. He calling the shots, including the ones that's intended to take down Sheduer. And what he is doing is racial discrimination. And there's a pattern because of how he treated Sashi Brown, why he fired Sashi Brown, and how it is he's puppeteering Andrew Berry, and how it is these players are being fired, intimidated, coerced, retaliated against because they gravitate towards Sheduer. Somebody, he was on the record saying that wasn't my pick. Stay tuned for the unexpected where that is concerned. Where he is concerned. That's racial discrimination. It said until Arch Manning is ready for the draft. Yep, nope, you're right. You're right. And I've been saying this. I don't even say it no more because I said it enough. I said it enough. I said it enough, and people are starting to catch on. I'll say something. And then when I see other people catching on, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good. Just like the whole thing about the games being rigged, I said that a lot. Now I see other people catching on. I'm moving on to another conversation. I'm on season 2 of Surviving the Browns. And I'm talking about who it is masterminding the illegalities over there. Because Stefanski, yeah. And I'm getting a clear shot. And it's all documented. And this is before Sheduer. Sheduer is just a part of it. That's what people need to understand. Sheduer was just a part of it. So if Sheduer was a part of it, how long have you been abusing black quarterbacks? And what does that abuse look like from Sheduer to Deshaun, to Jameis Winston, to Dory Thompson-Robinson, to Deshaun Kaiser? And who in the middle of that? Tyrod Taylor. Who else? RG3. Who else? Jacoby Brissett. And PJ Walker. All of them. What does that abuse look like? Because Stefanski just came on in 2020. So before that, what was going on? And they all got devalued. Stay tuned. It said Tony was sitting in a high bar stool type chair in the house. Saw him when they scanned the room. It said there are several birthday videos. It said I think that was one of Shiloh's. Okay, let me check while I listen. Okay, just drop the feel free to drop the link in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. It said it looks like another tank season. That's exactly what it is. And all they did was, instead of letting Stefanski take the heat for another tank season, they rewarded him and brought Monken. Why? Because Monken failed Lamar. We'll be watching the Baltimore Ravens. Now, they're talking about all of these people coming over from the Ravens. I'm waiting to hear if LeJounte is going to be able to come over. I don't think so. And he probably don't want to anyway. He probably is better off not. Note this, but Arch is a younger version of Drake May. What exactly does that mean? Let me know. It said in public, the players must appear to be on the same page as the coach or they'll be reprimanded. It said the NFL don't care about what it is illegal to do. That hasn't stopped them so far. That's unfortunate. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, right? You're going to have to decide what side of history you want to be on. You're going to have to decide, because I can say Andrew Berry messed up when he decided to get on the same page of the owner of the team, or his owner, pick however you want to say it, because that's how he acts. When he decided to devalue Sheduer Sanders' skill set on the record with the owner hiding it away somewhere, if there's a lawsuit, that's coming back on him. Just like Stefanski. Stefanski decided to be the abuser with the owner in the background. That's why I said Stefanski gone. The bushes starting to clear out a little bit. I see somebody. So that means you was doing all of this. You like the damn wizard. Oh, okay, you the wizard. And you hired a grand wizard. And y'all helped to get him rewarded, which is why you thought he was doing a good job. See, it's not that he just don't like bad press. I don't think he like being called a racist. And there's enough evidence to prove that he is. I said they better be lucky. The Sanders over there, I said, because somebody else would have sued you by now. You got college players suing teams for discrimination. One of them, somebody sent me the article. I think it's the player from Ohio State or Utah suing the program because they have diabetes and they got discriminated against. It's not far-fetched that these people are discriminating based on race. I mean, look at how they handled the whole coaches. Only firing black GMs, dogging out all 17 black quarterbacks, pimping out black people to come hang out with us after they were no different than the people on the Epstein files, because they the same people. These are the same people. They don't like black people, but they need the labor. It is documented. The NFL thinks they need the athleticism of black people, but we don't want it no more. We was okay with getting it when Michael Vick came in, because it wasn't that many of y'all. Cam Newton talks about it. Russell Wilson talks about it. When they were in the league, 2010, it wasn't but like them and maybe one other person. 2025, Sheduer knocking on the door at 17-32 in Cleveland, mastermind a whole bait and switch scam, because their history shows they've never had a black starting quarterback, and their racist history against Sashi Brown, because they didn't want Lamar, and others, including Deshaun Watson and Sheduer Sanders and Jameis Winston and RG3. All of those guys right there could actually get together and file a class action lawsuit. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but they got one. Sheduer got one by himself. Deshaun already clearly did something, because that's how he got $230 million. Sheduer's is probably worth $1 billion, because it encompasses the class action lawsuit that's already out there by Brian Flores and other black coaches. And they didn't give a damn about snubbing black coaches with that lawsuit out there. So stay tuned for the unexpected, because they clearly going to keep rolling with all their eggs in the Manning basket. Okay. And they go clearly keep trying to suppress Sheduer with 20 million people watching. Okay. I'm like, you can only manipulate those players because you pay them. You don't pay us. You don't pay us. And that's why you're going to hear them talking about, this is why nobody wanted to draft Sheduer. I'm like, because they don't want to be held accountable for racism? Because he's an elite quarterback, so what are you concerned about? Like I said, the Browns have their QB1. Why would he deserve a shot? Why would he deserve a shot when he set history over there multiple times? When he's already in elite company with who they consider elite, Aaron Rodgers and others. When he went toe-to-toe with Josh Allen, why the hell is he, Sheduer, have to prove himself every single time again and again and again? Just because the owners took himself off the board, that ain't gonna fly. Watch what I tell you. They might get dragged their feet about them e-files all freaking day, but they in them. And we already know it's documented. They could have said they was tight. They said they incestuously close. They do everything together. So for the 9 that's on there, the other ones know what the hell was going on. Keep playing. Might not be today, because if it's today, it's probably going to be a blackout or something crazy happening. But it could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. You see how they moving like nothing changed? All right. We know. So we move accordingly. That's what you do. That's exactly what you do. So Sheduer good because he got us. He good. He got us. Everybody else don't have us, but we can spread it around a little bit. But at the same time, that's the difference. That's the difference. That's why I said Trinidad, they push you into this league, and that's what they're gonna do unless you decide to walk away. You're gonna need to bring up that old Miss fan base with you. Facts. It's that I hope the collusion backfires. I think it will eventually. I think it's a lot happening. I think it's a lot happening that they are feeling. See, every time they get away with something, they do more of it. That's what people say. If somebody rob a bank and they get away with that one, they're gonna rob another bank. That's just the nature. And that's how they act, right? Oh, I got away with this with Sheduer, so let me send Stefanski over here to do it to Penix. And let me send Daboll, who we fired, let me send him over here to do it to Cam Ward. And then I got Munkin, he gonna come on up and do it to Sheduer. While that is happening, Abercrombie and Fitch is being floated in the background without these players being aware, thinking that it's okay because their employer decided to build this relationship and publicize it and stream it on Disney. Remember what we learned in plain sight. They all know. It said, think about the salary cap. It said it did increase and slick stuff is still in effect. The salary cap did increase. However, the Browns, it said, as of today, was still 15 million over. With the increase, the Browns were still 15 million over the salary cap. And now you have the dead cap space of $24 million. So, and who knows what else get ready to happen. It said AB operate on the cheap when it comes to melanin players. Right. That's what they have him over there doing. They have him over there cheating black players out of money. The white players get the guaranteed contracts. They get to get picked first. That's why when these people be doing these mock drafts, I don't pay them no mind. Because they choose them based on talent. This ain't about talent. The 2025 draft was obviously not about talent. In fact, that's one of the last things I remember Stephen A. saying. Well, the 2025 draft wasn't about talent. It wasn't. The 2026, 7, 8, and foreseeable future until something makes them change. And that something going to have to be strong. That's what it's going to be. I said that. I said that before the season started. I said, oh, this is what the foreseeable future going to look like. That's why the whole Mendoza is this. They're talking about, oh, he's the prototype quarterback now. Okay. So let me get this straight. No black quarterbacks. Then when Donovan McNabb come in and Michael Vick, you want a dual threat. But then there's something called the dual threat curse that they said Deshaun Watson was a victim of. Deshaun Watson asked for a trade. He's black. That's what he's the victim of. Racial discrimination. And if you ask me, that's why he got $230 million, because they retaliated against him. All he did was ask for a trade, and 30 days later, some women got found. They didn't come forward. Did you get their information from the same people that was doing it with Deshaun, but they set Deshaun up to look like it's just him to trash his reputation, his career. 2 Texas grand juries found him innocent, and they couldn't kick him out the league. So they decided the next best thing was to smother his career in Cleveland. It said AB would just get a bunch of cheap and ineffective players who will lose a lot of games. Right. I'm going to tell you what they're doing. I already saw they got this one guy. He didn't even play in the league last year. They got him on reserve. I said, oh, you went and got a wide receiver who played in the UFL the year before last, and you got him on reserve to bring him to camp. That's the kind of people they going to go get. So you speaking facts, and they already made that move. They made that move right at the end of the season. They put Luke Floria on that type of first rights reserve. The guy who didn't play last year and he desperate to make it. He's black. Canales, remember him that let the ball slide down his body? And somebody else. I have to look at the list. It said the Browns don't want to win. This is a trash team and will stay at the bottom. Right, Robin? You straight facts. It said Sheduer surprises Shiloh for his 26th birthday. Oh, okay. Thank you. It said on Shiloh's channel, it shows Tony Brown. Okay, y'all, I'm going to leave that on the screen so y'all can see what that is, what she's saying. Who put that out there? Mel. Okay, thank you, Mel. Thank you. It's that we are all, it's that Harbaugh extended Mark Andrews on his way out as last you to Lamar Jackson. It said now Lamar's favorite target, Isaiah Likely, is at risk to be signed elsewhere. Let me tell you what they're saying. It's saying Isaiah Likely coming to Cleveland. I said, how much is his contract? Because he probably should be. He should be, right? It'll be interesting. The rumors are floating that Isaiah Likely is coming to Cleveland because people think, oh, Monken came to Cleveland, so he's going to bring Isaiah Likely with him. I will remind you, Isaiah Likely should have been the one to get that damn ball. Who did they give it to? The tight end. Who did they announce is leaving today? The tight end. You see? The script from Baltimore that held Lamar back is what is going to, is coming over here. That's why they hired him. He was one of the first people they hired. I mean, that they interviewed. I was like, why would they hire him? I said, oh, here we go with the owner. They want to lose. They don't just want to lose. They want to rig who gets to the top. So the Browns already raising their hand. We're going to be at the bottom because, the Manny kid don't come out to next year. So y'all can have our spot. The Falcons. Yeah, we going to make way for the Saints because it ain't going to be. I can probably look at every damn division where I pay attention to these teams. It ain't going to be the Carolina Panthers. I watched them get cheated twice. I watched them get cheated 3 times, now that I think about it. Twice with the Saints and in the postseason. I felt so sorry for Bryce Young. I think they feel like he should just be happy he made it that far after all this time. What did I say about Lamar? I said, if Lamar wants to get somewhere in Baltimore, he's going to have to call an audible. He's going to have to go away from the script because it ain't going to work with the script. It's not. So Isaiah Likely coming to, for one, let's see how much he makes. But Isaiah coming to Cleveland with Monken will make everybody excited. So it works from a marketing perspective. But I will remind you, Isaiah Likely was brought in for Lamar to throw to, and they still threw to who? Tight end Mark Andrews, who became leading wide receiver. Why is your tight end the leading wide receiver? It's as if what was happening in Baltimore was Lamar or somebody realized, it's like they were fighting each other. That's what it was given. It was given that the owner was clueless and didn't know what the hell was going on. The GM and Harbaugh and Monken were on one side, and Sashi Brown and somebody else was on the other side. Sashi Brown trying to get Lamar what he needs. The GM brings in all of this talent to placate, just like I'm talking about Isaiah Likely coming to Cleveland. They brought in all of this talent for Lamar to throw to. When it's in crunch time, they said, what we gonna do? And nobody knew to look for it. Nobody knew to look for it. Now you know to look for it. We already watched it with Sheduer. They threw to the person who was already there. It's already documented. Mark Andrews was going missing in big games. You know they just rewarded him for the AFC drop. That's all that was. That's all that was. Pay attention to the acquisitions and the people that's moving out. I just shared with you the list of the people on offense and defense that are free agents. And you see most of the offensive free agents were in the situation, right? So let's see if they get Cam Robinson. They got him listed as a star tackle. No, he not. Potential retirement for Joel Bitonio. It should be mandatory. Like, okay, he should be the first one on the list to go. Starting with the O-line. Just pay attention. The Browns have needed an O-line for a number of years. They didn't want to win, so they didn't get one. But they got Cam last year, and he did the same thing. The leader of the O-line is Joel Bitonio. Let's see where number 72 is in the mix. Remember, Cornelius Lucas was brought in, and he can play on both sides, and Stefanski refused to make adjustments. The lack of adjustments is one of the biggest criticisms about Monken as well, not just Stefanski. They the same people. What you're not going to see is Monken beating his chest the way Stefanski was when it came to Sheduer. They're going to be more subtle with it. So the abuser is gone. But the suppressor is definitely the oppressor. The oppressor is the owner. The suppressor is Monken. It said Browns trying to avoid March 1st deadline to avoid the $27 million due to Njoku. They are hiding behind his injuries to justify cutting him. Interesting. That's some good insight, Ramon. It said they paying white players top salary and low price in the black players. Yup. And guess who doing that business? See, that's why they had all them black GMs. But they don't want them no more. That's why the only black GMs were fired. Andrew Berry on the hot seat. The rest of them was doing the same thing. The one in Minnesota was doing exactly what they wanted. And he still got thrown right under the bus. In Atlanta, thrown right under the bus. Raheem Morris did exactly what the owner wanted and got thrown right under the bus and replaced with somebody for way more money. Raheem Morris only made $3 million. And he had a better record than Stefanski. In your face. Racism. In your face. Slam dunk. What you gonna do, body boo? That's what it is. But they ain't better not play with Sheduer like that. Because we ready. I'm like, I'm rested now. That's probably one of the reasons I felt I needed a vacation dealing with all of that. It said should have fired the GM as well. Hey Scott, how you doing? Don't worry, he on his way out. If y'all see Tom Telesco in any communications or conversations or the little raggedy people on their channels that I don't watch talking about them, he's still over there. That's who came in to hire Monken. See, that should have told Andrew Berry, you know your job ain't safe. And since they fired your boss, because they didn't want Lamar, and you threw Sheduer under the bus, you ought to know what's coming. They brought in Tom Telesco to bring Monken in. Tom Telesco used to scout for Peyton Manning. I don't know what the hell he was scouting, but apparently they was kind of like letting him call his own shots. So Monken, Telesco, all of them in the Manning inner circle. Monken is in the coaching inner circle. Steve Sarkisian and Ty Monken are two of the coaches in the Manning's coaching inner circle, that it was okay. That's why the Manning kid was going to Georgia. Then Monken left and went to Baltimore. So the Manning kid went to the second best coach on the list in the circle, Sarkisian. They have had all this figured out. They knew that's why they dogged Sheduer out so poorly, so badly, because they thought the Manning kid was coming out in 26, but something happened, the unexpected. So stay tuned for the unexpected. Them Epstein files is out there, and Peyton Manning is in them Epstein files. And while they want to ignore it right now, foreign countries don't give a damn what they want to do over here. So we're going to see. But I will tell you, it going slow is probably keeping the lights on. Yeah. I'm not joking about that. I'm not joking that they'll throw up everything to keep them videos. There are thousands, tens of thousands of videos of kids that are with them. They will do anything to make sure that don't happen, including turn the lights out. That's why they wanted TikTok. Understand? It said AFC East will be led by a team with a white quarterback. Yup. It said AFC North has to lead by a team with a white quarterback. Yup. It said, I thought that was Tony Brown on that video. Yeah, that's what they said, Amber. I'm gonna have to go check it out. And see, they don't like that. See, they don't like Sheduer because he not gonna do what they just did. He not gonna resist all the way and just give in. That's why they don't like you. They don't. They didn't want it because he's black, but we really want you to go because you got too many people, and we can't force you into submission. Remember how they kept complaining during the pre-draft? Oh, Coach Prime gonna take our jobs. They never thought that. They just knew Coach Prime was gonna see what was going on, just like he did in Cleveland. And he showed up just like he did in Cleveland. And what did Haslam say after he was touching all over Coach Prime? Well, let's just say Sheduer had a good game. And the game started off trashy, and like a switch was flipped. He had a good game. It's rigged. It's rigged. People used to think you could look at the Super Bowl advertisements like the Post and look at the colors and tell which team was going to win. Now it's a guy saying, we missed this the whole time. So apparently there's this post that was out for the Super Bowl, and it had all the quarterbacks. They had Lamar in the back. And they had the ones that were in the Super Bowl were the first two quarterbacks pictured standing close to the Lombardi Trophy. So picture a Lombardi Trophy. Picture all the NFL quarterbacks. For sure the starters, but it looked like the second string too. They had Lamar way in the back. I was like, damn. Then the dude said, look at who's standing down there in the front. I knew it was rigged. I mean, I already knew it was rigged because when they wanted to send Sheduer to Philly and Baltimore, for one, I already knew they didn't want Lamar to win because look at what they went through to cheat him from the AFC. And I said it. When he got the free agency, he was already an MVP. 32 teams passed on him, like 32 teams passed on Sheduer. I already knew that supposedly Jalen Hurts got cheated the first time they went to the Super Bowl. I already knew they didn't want Jalen Hurts to go back when Philly played the New York Giants for the first time. And the right tackle didn't block, and he kept letting Jalen Hurts get sacked. I said, oh, okay, I see. I said, I want to see what happened the second time they played. The second time they played, they won. But then that's when the A.J. Brown controversy, and I asked y'all, what the hell is going on with all the disruption on this team? I said, oh, this is intended for them not to get to the Super Bowl because it was causing chaos, and it worked. And then what else was happening? We saw it with Sheduer first. We saw it with Lamar first with his tight end. We saw Jerry Jeudy messed it up. And then I saw it happen to Jameis Winston. And then I saw and see New York was losing so bad, they didn't want Jackson Dart to play because it was going to mess up his numbers. So they let Jameis Winston play. But then he was balling out, and people was like, damn, he should be a starting quarterback. So they little plan backfired. How did they keep Jameis Winston from winning this one particular game that went to overtime? His wide receiver stopped running on his route. That was the second time I saw it. Then I saw it a third time with somewhere else. And I said, oh, this is what they're doing. Caleb Williams. Because I said it. I said, CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams not going to make it. If they do, it'll be a damn miracle. Not only did they not make it, they used the same script with the wide receivers stopping running on their routes. That ain't going nowhere. It'll be right there next year. Look for it with Cam. Look for it with Bryce Young. Matter of fact, there was already an issue in Carolina. Remember they threw to Jimmy last? They underutilized him all season. Then they put him in the playoff game. And I think they finally threw him the ball. It was kind of low, and he didn't really get it. The problem with that situation was people were like, why would y'all go to him in your playoff game, but you didn't use him in the regular season? Rico Dowdle, D-O-W-D-L-E, he was their go-to early part of the season. And just like in Cleveland, they moved him out the way, and he said, I want out. He said, I want out. So he asked to be traded. And the next thing you know, they over there throwing the Jimmy, and that wasn't right because they underutilized him all season. But that's what they were doing where all the black quarterbacks are concerned. And they're going to do the same thing. And they probably came up with something else they're going to do next season. They already know. When you watch Atlanta, don't buy nothing. Don't play into nothing they saying. They're not letting Michael Penix Jr. win. They're not letting Lamar win. I don't care if they're going to get Lamar a $400 million contract. If they let him get to a Super Bowl, They ain't let no other black one get there for 5 more years. And I don't think they're going to do it. I don't give a damn how much money they're going to get it. They went and got all that talent for him and still threw to the one that cost them the game. And the one that cost them the game just got a reward. And they was going to trade Lamar. So what? They ain't want it. So now they're supposed to be getting a contract. Pay attention. This is why we follow quarterbacks, because this is the heartbeat of the league. It shows you who they are. The fact that they have 17 black starting quarterback irks the hell out of them. Just like it irked Jeffrey Epstein, and he documented, don't bring no N-words out here. But he said a black man tried to kiss him. Come to find out, they were eating children, and you get some kind of disease of the mouth from eating human flesh. I always blame the black guy with these people. It said, shout out. They said Sheduer QB1 is a cultural influence global, and the league is thirsty. It said the files are still raising. Yeah, we're going to see what happened. We're going to see what happened. It said the dog whistle will get challenged by the foghorn. That's what I'm thinking, and we the foghorn. It said the JSU product. Oh, they talking about, are they talking about Studsville? It said Haslam calling the shots. I think so too. It said the state of Mississippi might have some leverage in their lawsuit against the NCAA. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Because Ole Miss standing up on behalf of Shambliss. And did y'all notice that after that coach, what was his name? The one that his son said he don't want to play for him? The LSU head coach. Did y'all notice after he left, they tried to destroy the Ole Miss program? I mean, they tried to put a dagger in it. And you know what stopped it? The NCAA, something like that, is investigating LSU. Lane Kiffin, that's his name. The only thing when I tell y'all they were trying to destroy Ole Miss, I was like, why, if he want to leave, are you trying to destroy what's going on over here? I mean, when I don't mean just take their players, I meant destroy the program, like upend it. LSU ended up being accused of improper payments to players. So that distracted them away from putting a dagger in Ole Miss. So Ole Miss is going and asking for the reconsideration. So I heard it's February 12th. So let's see what happens. I'll be listening out for that. They said it's not a coincidence what's happening the 12th. No, it's orchestrated. It's orchestrated. It's planned. It said the right ears are beginning to burn. They should be. They should be. They should be. It said, didn't May and Darnold run when the pocket broke down? It said pockets are collapsing all night on both teams. Really? I didn't watch it. Did they let the backup play for Seattle? Y'all know who I'm talking about, Jalen Milroe. Did they let him play? They actually documented that he was going to be buried on the depth chart for 2 years. Let me know if he played in any of the game. I didn't even look at the stats. It says, sorry, MG is not too concerned about blackness. Look at his girlfriend. I don't think he dislikes blackness. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. Because he loves his mom. He loves his sister. He likes anime. So I get it. But that's not gonna work out for him. She's not gonna respect him. I'm telling you. Y'all gonna be like, damn, that's what she said. That's why I named the podcast that. That's why I named the podcast that. She's not going to respect him. You can no, think about it. Do you respect him? No. You know he was just doing this. You can't trust nobody like that. That shit not gonna work. Stay tuned. I'm not wishing it bad. I already know. A woman wants to be with a man that can protect her. For a partner. I don't care what they are, but he's a man. Right? Not somebody who came 90% of the way in support of someone who was being done dirty. And then for whatever reason, within 24 hours of that Kimmel show, you flip-flop. You're not proud to have that person on your arms. In fact, you actually embarrassed. You know that person is a coward. And you can keep going with the relationship, but you know what you're gonna say one day? Damn it, I knew he was a coward. That's what you're gonna say. And when you have a person that's that big in stature and they cower, no respect. No respect. I used to like Miles. I can't do it. No respect. You see, Sheduer ain't backing away from Tony. He don't give a damn what it cost him. Because why? He put all his faith in God. God don't want him to turn his back on Tony because they got rid of him because he showed compassion for Sheduer. He wanted Sheduer to be himself. You don't turn on people like that. That's why people like Sheduer. And I think Sheduer like they can do what the hell they want to do. Because he believed whatever God say is what I'm gonna do. Is that not what Justin Fields said? And where he at now? That's why I said somebody need to get a hold of him. Because he's sliding down. He's gonna be on a pole next. He better trying to go back to Chicago and be a running back. So they see you desperate. These people in desperation don't go together. You can't let these folks see you desperate. And they just gonna throw you under the bus anyway. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. It said, remember Coach Prime, keep receipts. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Hey, Tina, thank you. No, I haven't been wrong about Monkey. You know, people, I heard somebody say when I made my comment about Monkey, they were like, you being negative. I'm like, no, I'm not. People thought I was really, they were like, man, you being negative. I said, no, I'm being realistic. I said, the man has history. Well, just give him a chance. I said, he already had a chance in Baltimore. Look what he did with it. If you pay attention holistically, it's just what's happening to black quarterbacks. I'm like, duh. And it turned out to be. What did I tell y'all? I said, you see all that touchy-feely stuff? That's the first sign right there. It ain't going to go the way you think it's going to go. They just trying to manipulate you and coach you into believing I'm your friend when eek, and it already happened. The surprise is Myles Garrett. That's not even Denzel Ward. When he first did it, when I heard Denzel Ward after they benched him, see, he figured it out or they told him. When I heard him say right before the end of the season, he was on a podium, well, yeah, you know, it's not just Kevin Stefanski. I was like, oh, here we go. And then he's still on that time. I'm like, oh, okay. Now you have had 6 concussions. You need to check yourself. I'm like, because, you know, they got you. Understand that. He has had 6 concussions. For real. 6. I was like, is he going to be okay? And Myles Garrett, I'm like, when y'all hear they broke up, because unless you're using it for his money or his clout, don't be surprised. Women do not, believe me, she liked him. I can tell you why she liked him. He was a leader. He was a leader on the team. He stood up for Sheduer. And I don't care how long he been dating. He probably did this sort of thing before. But the point is, you know, his stature, he presented himself as a leader. He couldn't be pushed around. He wanted to leave. And then maybe they had some conversation and then he wanted to stay. And they gave him the money. That's why she liked him. Because he stood on his principles. And he's a big guy that stood on his principles. And he's the leader of NFL team on defense and everybody respects him. Until now. You'll see. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see. It said, remember, Chad, it said man's plans and God's laughs. That's facts. That's why I said the unexpected. Yep, I think everything starts with the owner. I totally agree with that. Yep. Hey, Kenya, how you doing? It says some of these black players are weak. Yeah, it's just a shame. It's just a shame that they think when they're being forced into submission, they don't think to leave and go start their own league. They have the power. They want your athleticism. You let them exploit your athleticism and break you down against your brother when y'all could be running this. Y'all have all the power. But you think your only option is to allow them to manipulate you and divide y'all against one another. You don't never think, screw it, I just go start my own league. Why? Is something in the water? Because that's what we think when we in corporate America. Oh, okay, you don't want me to have no say so. Bye. Because we believe in ourselves. We know we'll work harder for ourselves than we'll work for them. And we know working for ourselves gives us power. Working for them don't give you no power. It doesn't. But when you work for yourself, yeah, you might have to work for yourself in the beginning a lot more, but you have the freedom to choose. If you work for yourself, you create your own league. I don't care if you start off with flag football. That ain't my preference, but hey, I'm just saying, right? Under one of the birthday posts for Shiloh and Sheduer, I put, congratulations. Now go over there on that field and play 7-on-7 and stream it. For real. Happy birthday. I saw Coach Prime coaching the flag football game. I'm like, okay. I saw Shiloh today. I think they posted an older video of him with the shirt that say Prime on it. He was young, like 15 years old, 14 years old. I said, it's all out there for you. Prime with football. You just coached this celebrity game, so you can coach. And your son was just the quarterback, and the other one want to play. And y'all got a field. What else you need? Y'all already say y'all ain't using y'all magic for. So what else you need? You got the field, you got the players, you got the investors, you got the clout, you got the field, and you got the cameras. What else? What else you need? You need permission? I don't think they need no permission. Maybe from Colorado because Coach Prime's still there. But they trying to kick him out, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because, I mean, I feel like God is like basically putting it all together for you. Just doing your own thing. Maybe that's what they're working on, which is why Sheduer and Coach Prime was like, screw y'all. Because if, from what I understand, Nike said they didn't take out no ads in the Super Bowl or something like that. If Nike committed to Sheduer with this situation in Cleveland raggedy like that, they committing to something else. Understand that. And the executive branch is coming at Nike because they won't move away from their DEI. Talking about they ain't hired enough white people. They still committed to Coach Prime and Sheduer. But Cleveland can't. Let's see what happens. And I'm going to end up, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm getting ready to probably do, after this podcast, I'm probably going to do, I might do a members live stream. Because I want to share something with y'all. Because it ties, if somebody talked about it for Black History Month, it ties right into what's going on with Sheduer, Shiloh, and Coach Prime. So after this one, I'm probably going to do that. I think it worked well last time. So, and I know it's late, so if y'all gonna go to sleep, if you're a member, you can just see it tomorrow. It said some of these players, so I don't know why they think their only option is to cower and submit and be manipulated. They never seem to think, hey bro, since you got kicked out and these people over here tripping and they don't want me to respect the Black quarterback, they want me to set him up. Hey, how about we get together on so-and-so field and meet me at the park and we just bring some of the cameras and the content creators. Isn't that how overtime got started? Why is it never comes up? That should be in conversation daily. Explain it. Matter of fact, I want Coach Prime to teach it over there to those players that are over there. But see, they have to be willing to let this go first. And Coach Prime posted something that I thought was really good. He said, you have to let the old something that you wanted or you die. I knew what he meant. And I thought he was talking about the NFL, especially with the way I heard him talking. It was like mentally he had to let go of any hopes of that being the thing. And then from there, you can do what God asked you to do, because you can't do what God asked you to do, holding on to people that don't like Black people. You will never be able to be your best self. You will be always waiting on them to do what? It's been long enough. I mean, I feel like God just put them all forward. That's what I put in the comments. I'm like, good. Now go over there on that field, that football field, and play football and stream it. Happy birthday. Serious. I'm dead ass serious. Boy, the day that happened, whoo. I'm like, because the day that, and maybe they feel like they need Sheduer to be done. Maybe Coach Prime feel like he got to be exhausted with Colorado. I don't think so. They already shown you they don't want neither one of y'all, so just do it. God got you. Am I wrong? No. Cleveland don't respect Sheduer, so why he can't go play? Is there somebody undrafted, almost undrafted free agent 5th round contract that says he can't? If it is, okay, I get it. Why Shiloh can't play? He don't work for them. Shiloh and Dom could be out there 2-on-2, 1-on-1, right? Then y'all say Tony Brown was there? That's 3. Bucky used to play, that's 4. Junior used to play, that's 5. Florida, 6. I'm pretty sure there was a 7th over there. Studsville. I call him Studsville. I don't know. That's 7. That's one whole team. You see how easy that is? And all you got to do is get up from that birthday party table or from where the funnel cake was and step backwards on that field and just stand there in a circle and talk and stream it. And this people gonna be like, wait a minute, but are they getting ready to? They can play football? I'm like, just do that for me, please. Just go stand on the field, have a conversation, and stream it. And one of y'all be wearing some gloves and let Sheduer have a ball in his hand or Shiloh or somebody. But Sheduer always has a ball in his hand. They so close. They so close. They so close. And they might be talking about it. But just in case they not, please do it. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. Instead, I just think that the Black athletes will come to their senses to know that their worth. Oh, you say you pray? I do too. I do too. But I think I want, when I saw Shiloh in that video from back in the day, and he had on that Prime logo shirt, I said, that's it right there. Shiloh is not in. He actually is the one, because he doesn't play for them. There's nothing at risk. Shiloh himself and Dom and Studsville and all those guys that I just mentioned, Florida and Junior and Bucky, all of them put on the same shirt, get a little special matchup made, and just stand there on that field and toss that ball in the air and slow it down on the way down. And I promise you, the speculation will go crazy. I'm gonna redo his league. Yeah, you got to do it. Why not? And Shiloh is available. I'm just saying, they got the field. They got everything. They just got to do it. It said, and I actually did send them some messages. I sent Shiloh, I sent Sheduer, I sent Bucky all the same message, telling them to go play the Prime. What did I put? I shared it with the members. What did I say? I called it the Primetime Classic 707 at the ranch or something. I'm like, please just do it. I'm dead ass serious. I need to see that before the season started. I said this spring. Remember, Coach Prime was going to have a 7-on-7 classic at Colorado, but something came up. That's why those three hired help that were wearing the 12 jerseys was a photo op. It said, we need to stay on Haslam and social media. It said, we are aware that he is nothing more but a hood wearing. I think he is too, Miss Pamela. I think he is too. I love how Hurts is moving smoothly. Jalen Hurts, it said Jalen Hurts is an educated black man, and I can see him doing something else. Yeah, I don't even know how much longer he gonna want to be around. I'm like you. I think Jalen Hurts might actually be the guy that I said. One of these quarterbacks, one of these guys gonna have to have some self-worth and say thank you, but no thank you. He already got his master's. I think he got it from Alabama. I think Jalen Milroe may have as well. And his last contract is $235 million, I think, and he don't spend no money like that. So he ain't broke. And I think Jalen Hurts could be the one that when it's time for them to talk about his next contract, he like, I'm out. Thank you, but no thank you. It's going to have to be somebody. It said, if the podcast that you follow is not becoming to you the way it said you need to be coming to What She Says Sports. Thank you. Thank you so much. It said, remember the Bo Jackson shoe? Was that football or baseball or two different shoes? Let me know. No, I don't remember the Bo Jackson shoe, but I know he had a shoe, but I can't tell you I ever saw it. It said, Sheduer shoes are fire. CP was meeting with the CEO of Nike when he was in San Francisco. Okay. Oh, I heard there was a Nike house. That's what they called it, where they had the meetings at, a Nike house. I need to go watch that. I haven't watched that yet. I have to go watch that. It said Dak, Jalen, all brand ambassadors for Jordan. Okay, but does he have his own? Do they have their own shoe? Does Jalen have his own shoe? Does Dak have his own shoe? Or are they just brand ambassadors for Jordan? I'm going to actually probably find a video to show y'all. Brand ambassadors for Jordan, they be living a life. But they send them their products. But do they have their own shoe? Understand this. Nike know how raggedy it is over there with the NFL, and they still gave Sheduer his shoe because people gonna buy it. And I personally think that's one of the reasons why the executive branch is suddenly coming out targeting Nike. Because I thought I heard somebody say they just made a big donation and people got mad behind it. I'm gonna have to look into it for y'all. It said 12 has his own shoe. Facts. It said Joe Burrow, Kate Williams, Justin Herbert, alongside stars like Cooper Kupp, Derrick Henry, and CeeDee Lamb are with Nike. But do they have their own shoe? You can be a brand ambassador and you wear whatever the brand puts out. But do they have their own shoe? That's what I'm asking. Because that's different. And again, I normally see this in other sports. I don't typically see it in football, but it could be. And I know it used to happen, but I don't know if it happens anymore. It says safe travels. Thank you so much. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Sage, welcome. Virginia State University Trojans. What we talking about there? JSU had a great band. Has a great band. Yeah, no, they do the Sonic Boom. Yeah, I just watched them for Mardi Gras. I don't know if I see them. I don't think they do New Orleans If so, they, you know what? If they do New Orleans, Jackson State, it's gonna be next weekend before Fat Tuesday. It's gonna be Endymion or Bacchus, and it's probably gonna be Bacchus. Bacchus is the granddaddy of them all, and I guess Endymion is the grandmama of them all. They on the same day. No, they on 2 different days in the same weekend, and people come from all over the world to go to those parades. It said they'll be heading in the black parade for me. They'll be what? Heading the black parade for me. What's that, Kenya? It said, FYI, the Cleveland media are trying to insinuate that Sheduer will be released. Okay, cool. Fine. Do it. Do it. It wouldn't surprise me because you heard what he said about that 40 million, and he don't like that. And he knew, and he don't care. I told y'all when Shiloh was saying, what did he say? When they were at the table in Dallas for the birthday, or Texas, he said something, and Sheduer was like, yeah. I said, oh, he tired. I mean, I knew that anyway. If you watch Sheduer talk about that 40 million, boy, the way he rolled his eyes, like, he tired. I'm like, he's sticking up. And to have Tony there, I'm like, he don't give a damn what they do. You know what I heard Sheduer say when they was in Paris? He was sitting in the back of the car, and Shiloh said, yeah, you probably have to wait for something. They was talking about something random. I don't know what they're talking about. And you know what Sheduer said? I don't have to wait for anything. He said it just rolled out of his mouth. It was so casual. He said, yeah, I don't have to wait for anything. I was like, baby, he going to Canada. Shit, I don't know. He going somewhere though. And we going with him. I'm like, I'm sorry. Oh, I am for sure. I am for sure. They got some plans. They got some plans. Understand they got some plans. It said PVAMU Bachelor of Science and Criminal Justice degree, Lamar University Master's degree in Education. It said, yes, Landry is in the West Bank. Okay, blue and gold. Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Tamika. It said, can never hide what is in the heart. The owner is slick demonic. I think so too. Queen, it is Black history. Absolutely. It said, keep us abreast. I shall. It shall. It said, remember, news travels. It does. It said, when someone cheat, steal, or lie, eventually the person get caught. It said, what goes in the dark will come out to the light. Facts. And what is it that you say? What goes into the wash will come out in the rinse or something like that? Facts. That's facts. It said, former players in NFL said the Browns is where athletes' career go to die. Right. Which is why the Browns targeted Sheduer. See, let me tell you what's being, they just being exposed. The dominoes they stacking up the dominoes. And while the dominoes are being stacked up to go toward the Mannies and put all their eggs in the Manny basket, all of this time before they started stacking, they was planning. While they were planning, they were pretending with Sheduer. See, where we are now is we know what happened in the draft. We know Sheduer didn't want to go to Baltimore. I know how they were supposed to get over to Baltimore and Philly. I said then, they trying to send in where they got other Black quarterbacks. Let me tell you where we are now. See, you know how when you used to look at the mall directory, it said you were here. We're at the part where it's about to become apparent that all of the pre-draft conversations, which could be one of the reasons they broke into Sheduer house, all of the pre-draft conversations leading up to that $40 million Sheduer was talking about was never going to happen, which is fraud. Yeah. And for him to say that, he's putting it out there that they were going to draft him. What is one of the things they never talk about? That he was going to be drafted at number 2 overall for $40 million. I have said it countless times. I said they never want to talk about it. They want to keep calling him a 5th round pick, like they met him at Target at the pick at the boycott. Hey, we need a quarterback. Come over. We're going to put you in the 5th round. They act like they didn't pre-draft with him. I'm pretty sure he has proof, which is why they was rummaging through his nightstand. I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm pretty sure that was them because they didn't rob nobody else but Myles Garrett. Did they show him what they found at his house after the Jimmy Kimmel show and before he sat down with Michael Parsons? Because they got him for a reason. They got something. Because your contract guaranteed and you wasn't worried all season long. But suddenly, they got you shook. They don't have Sheduer shook, do they? So what's happening with the little clip going viral, what Sheduer said about the 40 million, what's happening is it looks like they were planning for the Manning kid all along, and they got Sheduer pretending that we're interested in you, and every other team knew this. And I've read about this. They've done this before. They said they do this. This is something they do. One team will be pretending to be interested in you. Other teams will back off and go find somebody else. Now, that's what they do. But what they did to Sheduer was pretend to be interested. Other teams went and found them a quarterback, and they cut Sheduer at the last minute. In a court of law, you will never be able to justify how you pivot from Sheduer to Dylan. You will never. And they put Sheduer behind Dylan on the stage to try to make it appear that Dylan was better than Sheduer. But when that damn whistle blew over there in the summer, it's documented because thankfully ESPN Cleveland did trackers. Sheduer was better than Dylan. By a lot. Not a little bit, a lot. Then when they started playing, Sheduer was better than Dylan. They asking Sheduer to prove himself when it's documented that he's the best. Why? Not just his stats. Remember when Sheduer would play? Oh my God, no quarterback in Cleveland has ever done this in the last 25 years. This kid has done what no other quarterback has done multiple times. And you need him to prove himself. Just like you get rid of a tight end that has the second most touchdowns by a tight end in team history. This ain't the person to get rid of. And then you called him a star and you still owe money. Why are you pushing him out? Go back and look at the film. He was one of the first people to gravitate towards Sheduer. Sheduer got a case. The owner is exposed, especially with Stefanski gone. And it just shows you why it was so compacted, because Stefanski was the abuser and the owner was the decision maker on what was going to be done. And Stefanski's gone, right? And we still seeing the same thing. And Andrew Berry don't have no power. Because if you don't like Sheduer, because he a black quarterback, you don't like Andrew Berry as a black GM. That's why you use him to devalue the black talent and you pay the white talent more. That's why Harold Fanning Jr. was a third-round pick. Dylan Sampson, third-round pick. Sheduer Sanders, we got him at a deep discount. Fifth-round pick. I can keep going. Who did they draft first? Mason Graham. What did he do? Nothing. He just white. Who did they draft second? Carson Schwarzenegger. Fully guaranteed contract in the second round, which is unheard of. In fact, it provoked everybody in the third round to hold out for a guaranteed contract. What did he do to get that? The same thing Jerry Jeudy did. Nothing. If a lawyer want to make the case is there. The evidence is there. So I don't give a damn if they trade Sheduer. I said it. I said, hell, they might kick him out the league. Cool. Because at some point they're going to be done with him. Because what they want from Sheduer is what they want from the Manning kid. The reason why they putting all their eggs in the Manning basket. The reason why they pushed the Sanders out. We don't want the Sanders football legacy. We don't want the Sanders influence. We don't want who the Sanders bring. We don't want what the Sanders bring. We want to get that from the Mannings because they got that too. Okay. Let's see if they still have it. Especially with the Epstein case, we just getting started. I don't give a damn, they don't do nothing right now. We just getting started. They already got people lined up to testify toward the end of this month. We just getting started. Just getting started. Dillard University, undergrad, Tennessee State. Okay, so you did go to Tennessee State. Does Tennessee State, the band, the aristocratic bands, do they participate in marching parades and stuff like that? Let me know if you know. Former NFL athletes said that the Cleveland Browns is where quarterbacks go. And yeah, and that's true. All the black quarterbacks I named, that was the goal for their careers. That was the goal when they sent Deshaun. After paying him $230 million, they sent him to Cleveland to die. And it's not, and Odell Beckham Jr. said the same thing. Yep, he said the same thing. And he's not even a quarterback. He's not even a quarterback. So that's just what it is. It said Njoku wasn't stupid. He got up out of Cleveland. Yeah, we'll see. Dillard was a patsy. Absolutely. A great cornerback can train a great quarterback. How's that, Kenya? What happens if Manning doesn't want to Cleveland? It's already decided. It ain't up to him. He didn't want to come out. He didn't want to come out this year. He found it. If he had played well, they was gonna force him to come out. They was gonna force him to come out. Cause why? For obvious reasons. So we don't have to hear about Sheduer. They think the Manning football legacy is gonna drown out the Sanders. How many black people did you see associated with the Super Bowl? This is their great white hope. I'm like, y'all steadily pulling black people close. I see you. And you want to push Sheduer down. I said it before. That is not going to work for you. I'm like, that's not going to work for you. I'm like, you pulling too many of us close. And just see what they fail to realize is they think they can manipulate us. You don't pay us. Maybe you could manipulate us if you paid me $60 million, but you don't. You pay Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward millions of dollars to play football for you. Therefore, you can control them. You can't control us. You should know that by now. And you might find some unsuspecting fool, but when they wise up, they're going to play you. I'm like, because we know us. We know us. They do not. Sure, they know how to divide and conquer with money. Let me see you do it without money. You're going to need some money. You're going to need some money. You're going to need some clout. You're going to need some access. They're going to want something. They ain't doing it for free. They're going to have to get something out of it. That's just how it's going to have to go. You can manipulate the players because you pay them. You don't pay the fans. And yeah, you can get a what they call it, an influencer. You can get that person with maybe 1 million fans, but that don't mean they followers gonna do what you say. That mean the person that you're paying and giving the access to is going to do what you say. That's one person. They haven't figured that part out yet. And they haven't figured out how to keep pulling black people in like you saw with this Super Bowl and to dump them when the Mannings come in because they don't support the Mannings. That's not them. That's not who they are. But I'm pretty sure they feel like they got it figured out. You ain't gonna never convince me to do that. I don't know. I mean, they don't want the Sanders because they don't want the influence. Well, if you keep pulling the people in that they influence or that they deem are cultural icons, how do you think you're gonna abandon them so quickly? I'm pretty sure they got it figured out down to the tax. They're gonna need some money or something though. It ain't gonna be for free. And understand that it's not gonna be for free. It said Bad Bunny was the owners trolling that they don't need a black audience. Nah, they don't have nothing to do with that. And understand this. This ain't about a black audience. They don't want us or them. Understand that. They don't want us or them. And really, they weren't really trolling. They're trying to go international, right? So this year, last year was it 5 or 6 international games? This year coming, it's 8. Why do you think they mentioned the game before the Pro Bowl, before the FC files came out? What did they do? They brought Sheduer into the Pro Bowl. They brought Coach Prime into the celebrity game. And they announced that the Browns will be playing the Saints in 2026. It was supposed to be 2027. I'm pretty damn sure when Sheduer was over there, and the game was going to be in Paris. Sheduer was just in Paris, right? So you have somehow decided to move up a game in Paris that was going to be in 27 to 26 after you saw Sheduer was over there. And you're going to get rid of Sheduer. Okay, well, do it. Do it. You better get somebody that's been pulling people over there, though. I don't know who that's going to be because when Sheduer and Travis went to Paris separately last year, the Jaguars went for their time. No, they went to London. And then I think the Browns went to London at different times. If I'm mistaken, it was at different times. They had Sheduer and Travis all over their marketing. So I don't give a damn what their media say. Now, their goal is to replace that with the Manning kid. That's what they're salivating for. That's what they're waiting for. And they feel like they're going to shun Sheduer and Coach Prime. So we'll see. It said 2004, Eli Manning refused to play for the San Diego Chargers. Right. Who held the #1 overall pick due to concerns about the organization's stability and management. He got his way and went to the Giants. Right. And when Coach Prime said that, Coach Prime said He actually said that's what he wanted to do to protect Sheduer, like the Mannings protected Eli, and they got pissed. You know why? Because they running Jim Crow through the NFL. That's what they doing. That's why Will Howard, they crushing on him. They just not calling it that. They crushing on him. The Bengals interested in Flacco. They know they haven't said nothing about Sheduer. And not just they haven't said nothing about it. He got to go prove it again. That's Jim Crow. These are Jim Crow. That's who these people are. They just racist for the sake of being racist. They want to do what was already done. They want it to be the way it already was. That's Jim Crow. That's why I said this is racial discrimination. This kid has done more as a quarterback than any of the quarterbacks they've ever had. Why does he have to prove anything? Why are only black quarterbacks proving anything? You know, when they had the little competitions last year, you know, only black quarterbacks were forced to compete last year. Who did Jackson Dart compete with? Nobody. But Spencer Rattler had to compete with Tyler Shaw, even though he had already beat Tyler Shaw. Sheduer had to compete. They wanted to make Cam compete with Will Levis, and Will Levis decided, I don't feel good. I need surgery. Because he didn't want to be a part of that. In fact, they said it was dysfunctional that Will Levis was still on the team. And it is. Who they want Sheduer to compete with? Somebody he need a shot. With who? Dylan? Why would Sheduer need to compete against Dylan again? So you want us to tear down the stadium. That's what you want us to do. Why would Sheduer need to compete against Dylan? Compete against who? Why is he competing against anybody? If he the best quarterback you've had, you already have your quarterback. Why you don't want the quarterback you had? That's the question that the media will not ask anybody in the Browns organization. If Sheduer is already the best quarterback you've had in history, then why is it you don't want him to be your QB1? And they seemingly want to kind of hide the fact that they want the Manning kid. I don't even know why you want to hide that. It's obvious. You bringing in all of Peyton Manning's people. The guy at ESPN Cleveland is talking about it. I've talked about it. Monkey recruited the Manning kid, not Sheduer. You think we don't know you stacking the dominoes? You brought in Tom Telesco to get Monken over there, which means you get ready to push Andrew Berry out after you get him to do what he needs to do in the draft, which is get somebody else. You're going to use Andrew Berry to put somebody in front of Sheduer, and his dumb ass is going to do it. I wouldn't do it. I quit. You're going to fire me anyway. Let me get my money. Or, you know what? Just fire me and let me get my money, because I'm not doing that. And he loves to seemingly run around and take credit for shit that he didn't do, or let them put the blame on him. I'm like, so you must need to be liked. You must need to be liked by these folks. These people better understand who they're working for before they be over there on an island with a trap door and they get released into the goddamn ocean after somebody eat their intestines. Because they're the same people. Just pay attention. Look at the identities. Look at who they are. Same people. That's why they in the Epstein files. It's that if they knew us, they would not have picked Sheduer Sanders of all people to mess with. That's what I say, Debo. That's exactly what I say. I said, I keep telling y'all, they don't know black people. They might have an old dusty playbook from back in the day on how to divide us and you know, keep us apart and stuff like that. But that work with the people you paying. That don't work with us. You ain't paying me. We live in a different society, right? You have influencers who probably don't even know what's going on with Sheduer, and they probably like it like that. But what you don't think will gonna happen when they figure it out? Oh, I'm still gonna go get that bread, but I'm not gonna tell nobody Sheduer is not a good quarterback. But they gonna go get that bread. See, they don't know us like that. I've said it before. They do not know us like that. Yes, they have a dusty playbook, but it only works on the people that you pay, like Andrew Berry. It don't work on fans. It doesn't. That's why for the first time, the Browns, since Haslam been the owner, this was the first time the Browns fans that I know of, since he been the owner, stayed away. They pride themselves on talking about how loyal the fan base is. And I'm going to tell you why they thought that. Because when Deshaun Kaiser went 0-16, the average attendance per game was 64,000. Who shows up for 16 weeks to watch a team lose? So they thought that's what it was going to be this year. And notice, they wasn't never going to bench Stefanski wasn't going to never bench Dylan. Yep. So they think they got it all figured out. It said I went to Galveston Mardi Gras once and it was boring. Ooh, I'm glad you said that. I wanted to look theirs up on YouTube and see if I could find it. All right, I'm gonna get myself out of here because I do want to come back. It's probably late for a lot of people, but I think this is very important. It is a part of Black history, but it's the conversation I want to have behind closed doors. So I'm gonna hop off here and give me about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna come back and schedule a members live. It's not gonna be long, but it's something that I want to talk about. Right? It's something that I want to talk about that popped up. That when I share it, you will think about Sheduer. You will think about Coach Prime. You will think about Shiloh. All right. So I'm going to see y'all later. I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. I'm going to let, I think, St. Augustine High School. Now, this is the high school. I showed y'all Southern University, who is a college, right? Now, this is at the high school level. So St. Augustine is the high school that Sheduer went to when New Orleans had the Super Bowl and he was working out and he met the kids and was giving away shoes. I don't know if those kids went there, but this is that high school. And their band is world renowned. They're called the Marching 100. These students are anywhere between the 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12. And I want you to see how they conduct themselves, how well they play, just how professional they are. All right. So I'll see y'all later. I think we're going to go out of here. I do believe we're going to go out of here with St. Augustine University. All right. See y'all. St. Augustine High School. See y'all later. All right. Was that it? Oh, no. I don't think that's it. I must not have it. Let's see. Is this them? No, that's Southern. I might have deleted it. Let's see. Nope, I deleted it. Okay, I didn't even post it. So I'll just share it another time. I'll just share it maybe tomorrow because Fat Tuesday is we still got another week. So I'll just share it another time. But I'll see y'all in about 10 minutes on the members live stream. If you can make it, if not, just catch the replay tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports.